everyone, and welcome to the Unknown Emote podcast. I am your host, Amir. I am here with my co-host, Doug.
Hello.
Hi, Doug.
Hi.
And Lawrence.
How are we all doing this evening, folks?
I don't think they're
know
going to.
if you
I don't
can
think they're going to
expect
respond to you.
Unless you're talking about us, in which case I'm doing great.
Hey, listeners, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, man, that's what the comment section's for.
No, that's when we had like the. I wish we had like one of those things where I could just hit to make sounds and it'd just be crickets.
Yeah.
I need one of those.
But that would be
podcast.
Almost every intro that Larry does. We would follow it up with
Right?
crickets.
So in case you folks don't know or have never listened to us, we are the Unknown Emote. We talk about MMOs and MMO-related news, and sometimes we just shoot the shit about stuff that's happening in gaming. But generally, we can stick to the MMO thing. So this week, what have you folks been up to? And I'll start with Doug.
Playing lots of League of Legends, and I just recently got on board with the Leaguepedia team. I'm still in their kind of tryout stage to be a statistician. But so far, everything's going really well, so it's kind of cool to finally be part of the competitive League of Legends scenes, even if it is kind of a behind-the-scenes position. But rather fun. I've been watching a lot of League of Legends tournaments and catching all the crap that you probably don't want to know about League of Legends, but you will be able to because of people like me.
That sounds super exciting, Doug.
It is, actually. It is.
I'm sorry, I'm not a numbers guy, so yeah, whatever.
I really enjoy it.
I'm happy you're happy.
I love my numbers.
And how about you, Lawrence? What have you been up to, sir?
Just console launches. That's about it. That's all the buzzword's been for the last 2 weeks is PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and getting ready for that, and then getting ready for next week, basically. It's just been holiday grind mode for me. What about you, Amir?
Pretty much the same. I actually was off at BlizzCon, which was fantastic, and which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. But yeah, holiday grind mode as well. The sweet joys of working retail. So exciting.
I guess I won't tell you two what's been going on for the past week for me because it would probably really piss you off. But it's
you're going to do
fun.
it anyway, aren't you?
I'm probably going to do it anyways. So today is the last day of 5 days off for me. Then I work my normal shift till Sunday, and then I have another 4 days off through Thanksgiving and don't really work at all on Thanksgiving week. And then come back.
I get to work Thanksgiving Day. That's awesome.
Yeah, I get to come back after Thanksgiving and work my little 9:30 to 5:30. It'll be nice. I mean, I don't really have much to worry about.
I hate you.
Yeah, I figured you would.
How about that? I just hate you.
Then the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I get 9 days off. I get to relax, and then I don't have to work a Black Friday like everybody would normally expect.
I have to work on that life. It really has to happen. Fuck. So anyway, let's talk BlizzCon before I get upset. Lawrence, take it away.
All right, so BlizzCon is basically a weekend event that the company Blizzard does, and they've been doing it yearly. Company Blizzard, basically founded back in 1991. They're responsible for a lot of the big-name franchises like Diablo, which started in 96, StarCraft series, which started in 98, excuse me, Warcraft, which was their first big breakout game, 94, and then the World of Warcraft series, which started back in 04. And most recently, they're basically looking at starting a couple card games, Hearthstone, and then also their Dota series, Heroes of the Storm.
I don't know if they call Hearthstone, which is a singular card game, a couple card games. But good job with that.
Maybe there's a secret one in the works that only Larry knows about.
How you gonna not?
It's possible.
How you gonna not mention Lost Vikings, dude? Come on.
Yes, come on.
Right?
Lost Vikings is where it's at.
That was where it was, bro. So, let's jump right in, because I think most of us who watched BlizzCon are very up to date on what the hell went down at BlizzCon. So, take it away, Douglas.
So, as a World of Warcraft player who has not been playing World of Warcraft because fuck Mist of Pandaria, I actually was really interested to see what Blizzard was going to do to combat WildStar, because it always seems Blizzard does something crazy to combat the next WoW killer. And WildStar very easily could be, because WildStar thematically seems to follow right behind World of Warcraft. It's all got the same look and feel to it. So I was kind of curious, and of course, what they did was they kind of hit us with some heavy notes, such as immediately getting to level up a character to 90, So you don't have to worry about going through Mist of Pandaria because, again, fuck Mist of Pandaria. Get a character right up to level 90, start playing in the new zones. You get to get a beautiful upgrade from what they've showed us already. The models that have been around since 2004 when the game came out are getting upgraded, and so far they look fucking fantastic. And that in itself almost makes me just want to resub waiting for the new models. Kind of going into the Hearthstone side of things, that game frustrates me. It's fun, but it frustrates me. So I wasn't really too worried about some of the things that were coming through there. It was just a lot of card balance and whatnot. Diablo 3, I gave up on that a long time ago, but I still kept track of it. The new expansion kind of was interested in it, but not really. And then StarCraft 2 just never has had my attention. I haven't even bought the most recent expansion, so I could care less about anything they said about that. So those are my initial reactions: is yay World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, and fuck Diablo and StarCraft.
Nothing on Heroes of the Storm? No
Heroes
opinion?
of the... I don't know. Like, being a hardcore League of Legends player that I am, I will definitely try out Heroes of the Storm. But you gotta do a lot to get me over League of Legends, because I am really hooked on the Season 4 changes that are coming out, especially as a support main. This shit is gonna get real. My karma is gonna go through the fucking roof with the new item that allows me to get 8 gold every time I cast a spell on you. That is gonna be fucking ridiculous. I can't even get over how much fun this is gonna be. So, Heroes of the Storm, I don't know. I played Dota 2. That really didn't do anything for me, so this better be a damn good MOBA for me to get dragged away from League of Legends.
That's fair. How about you, Lawrence?
I'm very, very similar. When I did the Blizzard online ticket, more for the in-game items than anything else.
Work a lot.
But yep. But basically, I mean, the big thing that stood out to me was just that they came right out the door with their announcement for the new expansion for World of Warcraft, Warlords of Daedra, and basically it was like that big thing. It was that attention grabber that, hey, we're going to go back to the content that everybody really primarily liked the most, the Burning Crusade, Burning Legion content. And then basically, since they had already announced the Diablo expansion like a couple weeks beforehand, I wasn't, I guess, overwhelmed with Diablo, even though I really do enjoy Diablo. I was like, okay, it's neat to see some of these new models and stuff like that. Hearthstone has been kind of a meh thing for me. Card games are real hard to keep my attention anyway, and there was just nothing about it that I was like, oh, okay. Heroes of the Storm, kind of the same thing. I'm not a big mobile player. It was kind of neat to see, that they're going to do this whole use the characters from the Blizzard universes, so I could have Arthas, and then I could have Queen of Blades and stuff like that as characters. That was kind of neat. But other than that, the other stuff, the only thing that really kind of caught my attention really from all of it was World of Warcraft, because StarCraft at this point, it's like, yeah, I know that they're going to come out with another expansion. Yeah, so
that's
not a big deal to me.
I already told you.
Yeah. What about you, Amir?
Okay. So I was there. The whole keynote, kicking the thing off speech was pretty fucking cool. And then they went, like you said, straight into World of Warcraft. And as I started seeing the stuff about Warcraft there, and then announcing, different zones, how we're going back to Outland, but we're going Outland as it was before it was all fucking shattered by demons and shit. I was pretty excited about that, because Outland actually at this point of the game is one of my least favorite zones to ever go to. As soon as I get to Hellfire Peninsula, my want to play World of Warcraft instantly stops. I'm like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to play through this zone again. Because I've been there so many times. I've done it with so many characters.
Yeah, but it's so fucking easy.
No, like I said, I lose my will to play.
You finish 3 zones and you're out of the whole fucking area.
Like I said, it's just, I'm telling you, that is the one area that just kills it for me. Like, I get there, I get through, I don't even, the only zone I actually liked out there are probably, Nagran and Netherstorm.
Nagran was always my favorite.
Everything else, I just, fuck it. I don't want to be out here. But anywho, past that, once they announced the expansion, they announced areas, I'm like, alright, that's cool. Whatever. But then they started announcing the old heroes and stuff, or heroes of the Horde or whatever that you get to talk to. And I don't know if anybody knows, but I am really, really, really big into Warcraft lore. So you're talking about having Blade Fist in the game and fucking Grom Hellscream in the game. And I'm like, yep, done, sold. I was like, that's it. You get to be part of the Frostwolf clan. Yep, please and thank you. I'm about this life. But then they went and did things that I was not expecting Blizzard to do. I knew the model update was coming and knew those were going to look good, so that didn't really do anything for me. The Insta 90 almost sold me on the game, but when they told me I could make my own garrison, done. So basically, if you haven't heard about garrisons, it's pretty much player housing. I get to have a garrison wherever the fuck I want it in the new area. And it's basically my place where I have like an inn, a fucking barracks, all kinds of shit. And I get minions to go out and do quests for me, retrieve fucking epic pieces, and fucking get me materials. Game over. Y'all win. Blizzard, you got me again. I'm fucking ready. I'm coming back to World of Warcraft. Once I got back home, I subbed again. So they sold me on World of Warcraft, but then they also went into stuff about Heroes of the Storm, which looked really interesting, especially after I got to go through their actual speech and stuff. And I'll talk about expand on that more. Diablo, actually, I am really looking forward to getting back into Diablo, but I really don't care to get back into it until they actually release the expansion. So I'm sitting on that one for a little bit. And StarCraft, I had never watched competitive StarCraft 2 until I got there, and that was super exciting. So I had a really good time with that. But yeah, those were the things that really caught my attention. But I'll go further into this as we go. So, of the things that we've seen so far, what was the most exciting thing that got you, Lawrence?
I mean, we've kind of hit it already. It's World of Warcraft. I mean, just like you said, the moment I heard that we're going back to the Burning Legion and all this lore, because I love the Warcraft lore, I was like, done. I resubbed. I text my brother and I said, hey, what server are you on? I transferred a character over and started leveling a brand new character just because I was like, you know what? I want to be prepped. And then I'll make another character when launch happens and go from 0 to 90 for whatever that character is going to be. But that was the thing that I immediately was like, all right, so it's not just another expansion. It's not just another, okay, we're going to give you an extra 5 levels or another 10 levels to go after. And it does fit in with the lore. It kind of does look like Blizzard as a whole realized that Mists of Pandaria was at least a little bit of a mistake just because of the mass of people that left the game. Granted, they still have 7 million subs, but it was one of those things that I really do feel like they're listening to the community and also listening to what people who have left the game kind of what would bring them back. And this literally is really the only thing that did bring me back. If it was something else, another zone I've never heard of, or if it was another thing like, oh yeah, we're going to go from 90 to 100 and, it'll be some more raids or whatever, I don't think I would have been immediately excited as I was with this one, where when I heard about going back to Outlands and I was like, okay, done. This is what I got to do. That's the thing I was the most excited about. All the other stuff was neat, and it's stuff I knew that was going to come out, but there wasn't anything that really grabbed my attention, as in finding out that we were going back to Outlands. What about you, Doug?
Pretty much kind of some of the things Amir touched on. The garrisons was something really nice. It seems to me like World of Warcraft has taken all of the things that have finally taking all the things that have changed in MMOs recently with some of the other MMOs that have come along and started to integrate them into World of Warcraft. So the things that they found successful in, say, Warhammer, if there was anything successful in Warhammer whatsoever, and some of the other games out there, they're finally bringing it to WoW and finally creating their own way of doing it. So I'm really kind of excited about the garrison myself, not having to go out and farm my own shit. However, the one big thing that I've kind of gone by the wayside and slipped under everybody's radar is the inventory system is going to be changing. The UI and inventory system is going to be changing a little bit. So heirlooms will finally actually be cross-realm and account-bound. It won't just say account-bound. So you'll be able to use your heirlooms anywhere you go. You'll be able to use those little collectible trinkets like my Titanium Seal of Dalaran, which I've only ever had on one character. I will finally be able to play on all of my characters. The Brewfest Pony Keg, all sorts of these things that you collect on one character, and you're like, well, shit, I wish I could play that on all 10 of my characters. You'll finally actually be able to do that. It's going to be all integrated into the UI. So that was my big thing, as somebody who has a shit ton of alts and who has 1 or 2 of these things on every single one of his alts. This is like a fantastic thing for me, as I love the UI changes. So that was my big thing, is my collecting gene inside of my body for World of Warcraft is going to be paid off finally after 10 years or whatever it is. So what about you, Amir?
Most excited. Wow. Yeah, it's World of Warcraft for sure. Like they got me really hyped about the game again, and I stopped playing for what 7, 8 months. Just no playing World of Warcraft. So it took a lot for them to actually get me into it. But what they did was they actually got me hyped about it again, and they got me hyped about the lore. And that was really what I'm in the game for. So as soon as they started announcing lore stuff and the places we were going back to, I'm like, all right, you're getting me in here. But it was a lot about the experience itself too. Like being at BlizzCon was fucking sick, dude. Like seeing people in like all their cosplay of some of my favorite characters, seeing the people that I've heard do podcasts and things of that nature. I got to meet Greg Street at the WoW Insider party, like my first day there, and like he had a conversation with me. It was weird. Like I'm meeting all these random people and different devs for the game, and they're really hyped just about having all the fans there. Like you're talking about 20,000 plus people at BlizzCon, and that actually got me way more hyped than I thought it would be when it was just the games. But like the actual experience of going to BlizzCon was probably one of the best conventions that I've ever been to, and I've been to quite a few at this point. But that was definitely the big thing to me of actually being there and the experience of people there. Like you expect gaming conventions to be the most socially awkward motherfuckers that you ever meet, right? However, I was pleasantly surprised when the WoW nerds like myself were not really socially awkward. Like these people could make conversation. They're passionate about the fucking games that Blizzard has. So that hype built into like everybody there. Everybody was really hyped about all the stuff that was going on, and surprisingly, I enjoyed the competitive StarCraft probably more than anything else that I sat through, and it probably had one of the biggest draws of anything else that was going on in the convention center. So yeah, those things are awesome. Lawrence, yeah, hit off the next part here because this is the fun stuff.
So, what did we all feel like was the most underwhelming part of BlizzCon? Why don't we start with you, Doug?
Underwhelming would definitely be the Hearthstone changes. Looking at it, Hearthstone, I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I really kind of was excited about Hearthstone. I play the beta now, and it just seems ridiculous. Anything you ever try to do, somebody will always have an answer for it. You can almost predict what's going to happen directly after what you think or what you do, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be correct because they always have the cards they need. So there were some things that I was really hoping that they would be able to change, like increasing deck size, a couple other things to it. And really and truly, the only thing that they announced whatsoever was changes to ranked play mode, like how you get your rankings, which even in the beta right now of Hearthstone, all you got to do is play enough games and you're eventually going to get max rank. There is no real punishment for losses. There's really no reward for wins. All it does is track the number of wins that you have and you continue to go up. The meat and potatoes of their changes was, hey, we're changing the way ranked is. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done with this game to make it more competitive. It is really fun. It is a lot of more fun than Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because you can do some things, and they actually touched on that in the Q&A. There are some things that you can do with being a totally online card game that you can't do in real life, such as one of their examples was King Mukla. You can't just give your opponent 2 bananas that have a random effect to it in a real life card game. So it's kind of unique in its own sense that way. I know there are other games out there that have done this, but unique as in that. But I don't know. It seems underwhelming. I understand this is their free-to-play option. I understand that this is something that you can just time dump or money into it and everything. And they even claim that something like 49% of their top-tier players have never spent $1 on this game. I call bullshit on that. I want to see more. I want Hearthstone to be big. I want it to be more fun than it is. And right now, they're just not really putting much time and effort into it. So that's my big underwhelming thing about it. What about you, Amir?
Underwhelming, probably, and I think this is mostly because of the announcement at Gamescom, but Diablo did nothing for me. Like, I felt like everything that they talked about in Diablo outside of the lore stuff was already stuff that we already knew. So I couldn't get hyped about a game that you've already told me about. Like everything that you brought here was already stuff you told me, and I felt like that was that they really kind of pooped on the people who came there who were really hyped about Diablo and the changes that were happening because they already knew. Like, how are you going to get people hyped up about this when you've already given it all away? So I felt like the people who are World of Warcraft fans, yeah, you can be really hyped about Warlords of Draenor and the things that are going on. But if you were a Diablo player, you really didn't have anything to get hyped about. And I felt the same about StarCraft. Outside of competitive StarCraft, there really wasn't a lot there on that. Now, Heroes of the Storm, I felt like I don't think that it's gonna be a like Dota 2 or a League of Legends, not even a competitor. It doesn't seem like it would even fall in the category of being able to compete with those. And I was surprised. I thought they were actually gonna make something that would potentially say, hey, this is gonna draw me away from League. The only thing that I really got from it was, hey, if I only have 20 minutes to spend in a game, I could play this and know that I'll be done instead of a game of League of Legends where it might go an hour. That was the only draw that I had of this. I was like, hey, I can distract myself with this, but I'm probably going to still play League. You know what I mean? So that was kind of disappointing. But otherwise, they did a pretty phenomenal job of getting people hyped about Blizzard games again, I thought, overall. I think as far as things that kind of surprised me, like I said, the StarCraft thing surprised me a lot. They had, like, when the StarCraft semifinals and finals were going on, it was easily the biggest crowd that they had in there. I'm talking about at least 6,000 or 7,000 people just sitting all in that one section, just packed all the way to the front, cheering on the competitors in there, cheering on Jaedong a lot, who was the only guy that I actually knew when we came in there because he played competitive StarCraft Brood War, and that was the last time I actually played StarCraft, like, trying to be good at it. And I was by no means a competitive player, but I was pretty highly ranked. But it was impressive to see how fast they played in the game. I was like, wow, I wish I could play like that. But seeing that guy get crushed again kind of felt sad because he is known for being second place in championship rounds. So let's go straight into overall impressions. Doug, what did you take away from BlizzCon?
It's cool, guys. Just skip me. It's cool.
Yeah, I was
You know?
about to say, Larry didn't
my
get to
bad,
be
bro.
underwhelmed by BlizzCon
I
yet.
totally missed him. You know what?
So, to kind of give
you,
my,
whatever.
it's all good.
I blame it on working retail.
So my basically being underwhelmed was everything that wasn't World of Warcraft. Amir basically touched on it for the most part. Everything that they kind of announced that wasn't World of Warcraft, we already semi knew about, or if you had half a brain and can use a Google search engine, would have known what was going to be announced. So when they announced the name of, Heroes of the Storm, it was like, oh, well, I already knew that because I knew that Blizzard went and got the copyright for the name a week or two ago. And Hearthstone has been in beta for what feels like forever. So there wasn't anything that really would have caught my eye. And I do feel that it was almost one of those things, like everybody in Blizzard's like, okay, so we already announced Diablo. We know that everybody's going to know Hearthstone. Heroes of the Storm, okay. And, then we've got, StarCraft. I guess we could do StarCraft. What's one thing that we need to do to really wrap all this up? And I do feel that if they didn't make the announcement for the new expansion for World of Warcraft, it would have been a wash to me because there wasn't anything that I was really like, okay, I'm really excited about other than World of Warcraft. I did expect that they were going to announce something along the lines more for Diablo end, and I was really kind of disappointed in that because I'm a huge Diablo person. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll announce another class, just like when they did the expansion for Diablo 2. And I was like, okay, so they announced one when they announced this game 2 weeks ago, and maybe they're going to announce another class, something to be comparable. But they didn't. Again, I'm not real big into card games or MOBAs, so Hearthstone, I was like, okay. I've known about Hearthstone. I've been playing Hearthstone beta for 4 or 5 days by this point, so I already know it's there, and it was kind of the same way with everything else. So that was kind of my just underwhelmed by the whole thing as a whole. Granted, I wasn't there. I'm sure it would have been a really fun experience, but for me watching it and then also reading the notes, there wasn't anything other than World of Warcraft that I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to buy Blizzard games, or I'm going to continue to invest time in them. Just like I'm not going to play Diablo 3 until they actually come out with Diablo 3, whereas I just subbed to World of Warcraft a week ago because of this announcement. So that's my feel for it.
I dig that. That's the same way I feel about Diablo 3, which is kind of sad. I wish I could be
Yeah,
more hyped about it, but
I know, and a lot of it to me, it's like, well, if they're gonna wait to do this whole reloot thing, to me, if they were at least gonna say, hey, we're gonna push the loot up further so you don't have to wait till the game comes out for us to restructure your loot drops, that would have been okay. Well, I'm gonna start playing it again because I've got Diablo 3 for computer and I've got it for Xbox, and it's really annoying that I can go play the Xbox version and get better loot drops in the Xbox version versus the PC version because that's just how the game is made. So it's like, oh yeah, I can go through and play my wizard and get drops that have intellect on them almost, I would say, 90 to 80% of the time, whereas on the PC version, it's like, yeah, if I play it, maybe on average get an intellect drop 10 to 15% of the time. So let's go to the overall impressions. Why don't we start off with Doug?
My overall impression is pretty much what everybody's been touching on. It was cool. World of Warcraft is going to come back into my life more than likely. I still played that game primarily for the social aspect more than for the game aspect. So I'm still waiting to find out whether or not some of my old World of Warcraft buddies are going to be getting back onto the game. If not...
Flex Raid, man.
What?
Flex Raid. I said Flex Raid.
Yeah, again, that's random people that I don't know. I could care less about that.
not in Flex.
Well,
Flex,
yeah.
you're going with people that you do know.
Yeah, through cross realms and everything, but it's not like a guild status. It's not the people I played the game with for 8 years who no longer play. I mean, to me, that's World of Warcraft, is getting on and playing with the people I played with for 8 years.
I'm back in my old guild, so I know how you feel.
Yeah, so unless I find more people who are probably going to play World of Warcraft, like I know you two are going to play, there's probably 2 or 3 other people that are on my Facebook friends list that are going to play. I'll get back into it, and I'll play a little bit just to see what all the changes are, but I doubt I'll be anything like I used to be when I was so invested in the friendships and everything that I had with World of Warcraft. So their changes are good. It's what World of Warcraft needed to survive. It actually almost worries me a little bit, though, because in a sense, they're doing all the things that they needed to keep themselves alive. So when is a new LP going to come out? Are they going to create a new MMO? Are they going to create Warcraft or World of Warcraft 2? Or are they just going to keep chugging along and making band-aids to this game that's already 10 years old to keep people playing it? So that's kind of my back and forth on that. Overall, again, with the other stuff, it was kind of meh. Hearthstone, I really wish there were better stuff coming out. Diablo, I gave up on that, like I said at the beginning already. I tried getting back into it. It was the same fucking thing over and over again, which I guess is the whole point of Diablo, but to me, I can't stand it. And Heroes of the Storm, they have to prove themselves to me. That's all there is to it. So let's give it to Larry so he doesn't get forgotten about when Amir goes on his rant.
Okay.
My bad. Shit.
My overall impressions were kind of the same thing. I got the digital, be able to view it through digital download. And my primary reason for doing that was basically for the digital items. Over the last 6 months, I've kind of become a digital item whore for anything Blizzard, just because I like all the little trinkets and stuff, primarily because I've been using them to get all the Diablo banners. But anyways, so when they announced the World of Warcraft stuff, I was like, okay, this is good. And I definitely agree with Doug that it does seem like they're just doing stuff to basically keep themselves relevant because of games that are coming out and because of people that are, looking for other things. And that at this point, you've got, EverQuest next, and you're going to have basically WildStar, and you're going to have ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. So it's one of those things that I do kind of wonder what's in the mix for them for the next year. Are they going to, do something with the new, LP, because they did scrap Titan, quote unquote, 4 or 5 months ago. And so it's like, are we gonna have something new here in the next little bit? Because at this point in time, we don't know when those 3 MMOs are gonna come out, but they all look fairly solid. Granted, I haven't really had my hands on any of them, but from what I've seen for footage, it looks like those 3 are solid. And it does look like there's other things about those games that makes it more interesting. And so I would say definitely the big thing that the barracks thing, Garrison thing, is something that they really did kind of not take from WildStar, but it was definitely something WildStar WildStar had announced way previously. So it does seem like it's something they're trying to do to kind of play even like, hey, we're going to have this too. There's no reason to go to WildStar because we got it, you know? And you've already got your level 90s and you've already got all this time invested. Don't invest time over there. Come over here. So that was kind of my overall impression. Everything else other than World of Warcraft, I was like, I already knew this was coming out. But the World of Warcraft thing did what it was supposed to because I immediately went and subbed like literally like 2 days after.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Amir?
Well, overall impressions, I guess, is that Blizzard is really riding on World of Warcraft. Like, I mean, it was always something that we knew. Hey, the World of Warcraft is their like bread and butter. But you start thinking about how much everything revolved around it. Even though they're doing like new LPs, you're like, but this is a World of Warcraft, convention. At the end of the day, that's what it felt like. So I feel like maybe that's all they have left. And then later on after BlizzCon, Greg Street tweeted that they are looking to start doing World of Warcraft expansions once a year instead of like on the 18-month cycle. And I remember the last BlizzCon, which was 2 years back, they said that they were only looking forward to, doing a World of Warcraft expansion once like every 18 months. So when I think about that, I'm like, well, if they're pushing WoW this much this often, then they must have that as their only big thing or the only thing they know they can depend on. I don't know. It seems weird to me that that's all that they have left, really, until, we see another StarCraft game, which, sell a metric fuck ton because they sell them in places that aren't just the US. On top of that, I was a little bit surprised that they didn't put more emphasis on anything else. It just took me off guard. I just expected more stuff. So maybe that's just me, and maybe they have some other tricks up their sleeves that we don't know about, right? But
yeah, kind of on that point, it does seem like this Diablo expansion, with all the fuck ups that they had with the original Diablo 3 when they announced it and launched it, with the auction house and all the negative crap that they got from the players and everything, it seems like this expansion is it for Diablo 3. This expansion is either going to revive Diablo 3 or it's going to kill Diablo 3.
Yep.
And that's kind of the sense I'm getting from Blizzard too, as they're like, hey, here's an expansion, here's some of the things that you've said you've wanted, and you gonna play it? Because if not, then we're just going to let it die. And that definitely kind of what to your point of, seems like they're putting all their...
exactly the vibe that I had.
yeah, they're putting all their eggs in the World of Warcraft basket, and it's like, Blizzard's not going to make it. Because at this point, kind of something Larry talked about too on his overall impressions, for me, the nostalgia factor is no longer there for World of Warcraft. Like, yes, I have all that time invested, I have everything on there, I'm excited about some of the changes or anything, but I am way more excited about WildStar than I am about the things that they announced at BlizzCon. So right now, World of Warcraft is going to have to find a way to still take my time away from WildStar, or WildStar is just going to have to suck so bad that I go back to our World of Warcraft. So, I mean, they're kind of putting themselves in a situation to where it's like, okay, come play World of Warcraft again. We'll give you a level 90. We'll give you the housing. We'll give you all the stuff that you want. Just come back and play our game. We'll put out new expansions. We'll do everything we want for World of Warcraft. But at the same point, you don't have me. I didn't resub like you two did. I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, but I want to play WildStar. And if it comes to $15 a month for WildStar, or $15 a month for World of Warcraft, I'm probably going to pay the $15 a month for WildStar at this point.
Yeah, I could totally see that, and that's the thing. They have to convince people that they have the best stuff in the market still. That's huge. It's not something that they're going to easily be able to do. I don't think they will easily be able to do it. But I've been proved wrong around Blizzard once before, so we'll see. But I'm playing WoW again. So I guess that they won in that particular instance. They got me playing the game that they wanted me to play again.
That's true, but they didn't get me,
agree.
And I was diehard World of Warcraft, and I heard the stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll wait for the expansion. Like, I had no desire to resub and log on and start playing my account now. I'll wait till the fucking changes come, and then I'll try it.
That seems
No,
fair
man,
enough.
I was in the same boat. I mean, I haven't honestly played World of Warcraft in almost a year, and if it wasn't for my brother and a friend of his bugging me to be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" because I'd be on Hearthstone or on Diablo, and they'd message me like, "Hey, why don't you come play on the server?" That kind of did push me over more, but it was one of those things that's like, well, I don't really know when the expansion is going to release, so I might as well log in and see what this Mists of Pandaria is about because I never played it, even though I bought it a year ago when it came out. Logging in, and now that I'm kind of back in the groove of it, it definitely has the nostalgia factor, but it doesn't have that thing where it's that game where I am waiting to play it, or I'm like, okay, I got a level, I've got an extra hour or whatever. It definitely doesn't still hold my attention as much as, say, some of the other games that are coming out that I may be able to get my hands on. I mean, I'm more excited to see the revamp of Lord of the Rings Online that just came out today versus logging into World of Warcraft at the moment.
And I'm be real, part of the reason I'm playing again is because my girlfriend wanted to play too. Because she watched it and she was like, "Oh, that might be fun. I kind of do MMOs, but it's not really a big deal to me." And I was like, "Well, we can play WoW. Like, I'd happily play WoW again. I don't have anything against the game."
It seems to me like the one thing that they could do to get me back into this game, and this is something that obviously they would have to detail and work out down to a T, but if they had like a guild subscription to the game to where you could pile in, no matter how many people are in your guild, you pile in and pay X amount of money per month for your guild to be active and any characters in that guild be playable. That would be something that could get me back into it, because then I know that the people that I've been playing with forever are invested in this game and aren't just going to turn and bail on me again. I mean, that's the kind of thing that would get me back into it. If I had a way to know the old crew was getting back together, so to speak, for one more go round the block or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I would be all for that. But for me, it's the game itself does not have the appeal. I don't want to sub up for $15 a month to level from 90 to 100 and do the new raids and try out the garrison without the people there with me. The second pie vendor or anybody else that I used to play with in World of Warcraft contacts me and says, "Hey, get the expansion. We're gonna play until it gets boring 4 or 5 months down the road," I'm going to the store and pre-ordering my subscription that second. But until then, WoW has a lot of work to do to get me into the game itself.
Yeah. So I guess the other games don't really make that much of a difference for most of us. Like I said, I'm going to play the new Diablo once it comes out. I already made up my mind on that, but
I might. Yeah. Who knows?
WoW I had already made my mind up on. I was gonna play again once I saw the stuff out there, and then like I said, I saw like my guild there in person, so that kind of got me hyped about playing again as well.
It's always a plus.
Yeah, that was really fun. If you guys get a chance to go out to BlizzCon, I would highly suggest it. Even if you're not really playing any Blizzard game.
When BlizzCon comes to Orlando, I will be there. Otherwise, that's
Good
probably
luck
the
with
only
that.
time.
Because I have a feeling that's probably not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I figure it probably wouldn't either. But a man can dream, right? Star Wars Celebration came to Orlando twice and might be coming back in the future, so a boy can dream.
Fair enough. So, gentlemen, what are we doing next week?
Apparently a lot of
that. I'm given the opportunity, so I don't have to be the one doing all the talking. I spent my entire day talking.
I mean, I've got 4 days off of work before Thanksgiving, so I get to relax and spend time with family and all the other fun shit that I've never gotten to do working retail before. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, is actually having something that resembles a holiday vacation.
Yeah, holy shit, lucky you. Well, I will be off work for the next 2 days, and I think we're going to hit on Lord of the Rings Online. So yeah, that's what you'll find me doing over the next couple of days. And I'll be playing more WoW. My girlfriend wants to play, so there you go.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I mean, I've got console release tomorrow night, and then basically I just updated Lord of the Rings Online because of the new Helm's Deep update, so I'll be playing that. And basically also logging in, trying to get to 90. I'm like, on World of Warcraft, I'm like 87, almost 88, so. And MOP, Mists of Pandaria, is not as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but it's definitely not the same as any other expansion to really keep me vested in the lore and the thing. I'm just like, grind, hit my missions up, or quests rather, and then I just need to get to 90 so then I can go plop myself in this one zone and do raids. That's it.
Are you going to be raiding again?
Yeah, probably. So, I mean, the raids aren't very hard. So, especially with Flex Raid and a few other things, the guild that I'm in, they raid every night for the most part because I go do all the old school raids too for gear and stuff. It was really weird running through ICC and doing ICC 10-man hard mode and doing it literally within like 45 minutes, clearing the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is different. I just remember doing ICC back in the day, and it was like, this is a bitch.
I loved ICC.
Oh man, I enjoyed the raid. I just didn't. It's weird how like I was literally only 85, and granted I was in Dragon Soul gear, but then you go down and you just one shot everything, and there's no hardness or even like I had to pay attention.
Dude, ICC was a great raid.
ICC was a very
Great
good
raid.
raid.
Except Syndragosa.
Fuck Syndragosa. Ah.
See?
It's like you get to the Lich King and you're almost like, oh, thank God we're the Lich King and past Syndragosa.
Your pathetic magic betraying you.
Yes.
You know.
And to be so reliant on people not being dumb. That's painful.
Can you please stand behind the ice pillar? Please, please,
Please,
please.
please.
Fuck, fuck.
You're dead.
God damn it.
Can you revive him so next time she does the move he dies again, please? Thank you.
Oh man, yes, history. All right, gentlemen. So, with that said, we should be able to see you folks next week. I don't think
Should
our
be the
schedules,
keyword.
are going to be too insane. I honestly, like, I don't know, maybe Wednesday. But it is the week.
Yeah,
of
Wednesday will probably be the
Thanksgiving.
best day.
Wednesday will definitely be the best day for me.
I'm off.
And yeah,
Actually, Wednesday night I think I'm traveling to Jacksonville, so whatever. We can find time.
you're always that guy.
Oh, right, always.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, we'll see you folks next week. If not, it'll definitely be the week after that. Deuces. We'll be talking about Lord of the Rings Online. Hopefully, most of us will have played it at that point. Unlike some other terrible games that we've been forced to play.
I'm currently
Eh.
downloading the patch so that I can play.
Yep. Me too.
All right.
All right then. We out.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Deuces.